Hello, beautiful beings of light. Hello, divine souls. Hello, beautiful soul family. It's so good to connect with you. We felt called to share a spontaneous message, and it seems that when energy is high and there's lots of forward momentum and lots of new things happening on planet Earth, our guides also ask us to step it up a bit in terms of the updates. So we're going to aim to do these updates on a very as we go basis, like as the guidance flows out. Our goal is to be as spontaneous as possible and share these messages for you, because it's a very interesting time on planet Earth. And what prompted today's message was some of the great Earth changes that are coming ahead and what we should be aware of and how to arm ourselves and prepare for this time. So the main topic that's looming in the horizon is there's a new trend. We know that the cue ball, the ones who are in power, have many tricks up their sleeves. And at this point, their old tricks about the scamdemic are kind of like not working anymore, because too many people are aware of what's happening. So they have a few new tricks up their sleeves, one which we mentioned in the past video about the UFO mass kind of takeover event being staged to put the masses in fear. That's a tentative one. It hasn't fully blossomed yet, but we're seeing early signs of it. And the other one that is also seeming to become reality very soon is the engineered global economic crash. And that's what we wanted to start off with, and also go into a few other topics of what's to come. So this is going to be a very informative video, and you want to make sure you share this message with people you care about. And knowledge is power. That's all it is. We have to stay grounded through this process, and as much as we are aware of what's going on, the more grounded we feel. So that's our main objective here. So the economic crash is going to be, is already underway. There's, so this is a mix of our guidance, intuition, as well as our research, because this is a topic I like to keep my fingertips on. So we feel that China is one of the main players of the cue ball that is behind this economic crash being engineered. And what they started doing is they started stocking up on commodities. Like they started buying land which had oil supplies, like they made a deal with the Canadian government for the tar sands of Alberta. They've been on this for years ago, like this was taking place 20 years ago. So their plans span many years, and they've been preparing for this time because they knew exactly how this is going to play out, and they wanted to make sure they profit from this time. So they're stocking up on oil, they're stocking up on food commodities, because the next pandemic that's being engineered is a global economic crash. We're already seeing some scare about the oil prices. This is all being engineered. We're going to start seeing food prices rise up, because when oil prices rise, then food is next, because it hits the whole transportation industry, and cost of delivering everything goes up. So it's going to go into an inflation. This is what we expect. This is the current trend that we're seeing. It's going to go into a US inflation followed by a hyperinflation. And what that means is prices start to skyrocket, and unemployment also, which is already pretty high because of the lockdowns. So this is all being creating a perfect storm for a great economic disaster, crash. And one of the main objectives that the dark ones have behind this is to subdue humanity, like slow down the ascension. They know they cannot stop it, so they're going to do everything possible to make life as miserable as possible for humanity, unfortunately. So the long and short of it is that prices will be at an all-time high for the food market, for oil, for commodities, silver, gold, these kind of things go skyrocket in these cases. So there's a little information tip for those who are interested. So keep an eye out on this topic, and we'll also arm you with a few options of what we recommend during these times.
Hello everybody, so lovely to see you guys. I just wanted to start off by welcoming all our new subscribers. There's so many new people in our channel, and on our Telegram channel as I'm not so sure about Facebook because I feel like that energy is dwindling for me. I'm not as active on Facebook. But Telegram, I see so many new people. YouTube, I see so many new people. Welcome. My name is Eldora. This is Siman. For those of you new, we have been doing these videos for about a year and 4 months or 5 months. It was fully guided. We were asked to leave our 3D jobs and 3D world and then step into this just before this whole scandemic kicked in. And we really feel like we are now in turn arming so many of you with all the tools that you need, the energetic support as well as the tools that you need to handle what's coming. And this is what this video is all about. So many of you have heard about the concept of the great solar flash, right? It's every December solstice, every winter solstice for us here, we go through a grand up leveling in frequency. Siman and I went through a portal this last December. I'm not sure how many of you felt like you walked through a portal. Our life, we were shown very clearly that December 21st, we actually led an online ceremony, a solstice ceremony where over 60,000 of you tuned into it. We were shown clearly that Siman and I on that date stepped through a portal, and honestly our lives have completely changed since then. We feel like our bodies are going from carbon to crystalline. It feels
like a higher self merger.
Absolutely, it's massive, and many of you went through it, have already been through it, or will be going through it. What we have been shown is that the great, which is the great solar flash, we're not there yet. We will be having some mini solar flashes between now and 2032 to 2034 is when we're being shown. We actually personally thought it would be much sooner, but we're being shown that the great grand solar flash, and remember timelines are always shifting because there's no constant now moment. Things are always moving, things are always shifting, and then finally whatever we manifest is what comes into reality. Based on vibration, based on thought, based on action, based on words, based on frequency. So basically the dominoes have already started falling. So if we imagine, if we shift our perspective from now, just focusing on everything that's going on now, to really a broader perspective of why we came to Earth. We came to Earth to support Earth during this time and the times to come. So many of us have been in all these situations at home, in our childhood, in our we've been going through our training, our earth training. We've been going through
abuse and trauma is our earth training.
Exactly, all the abuse, all the trauma, even physical trauma, like even sexual trauma, even anything that we've been through, even lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, whatever we have been through in this lifetime, being talked down to, being with a narcissist, has only been there to help us for this time. So I ask you all to broaden your perspective and really zone into the past few years leading to the next few years. And I'm talking about, we can even like zone back the past 100 years going into the next 100 years. The dominoes have started falling, you guys, and Earth is never going to be the same again. There is no going back.
That's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
We don't want to go back to the way.
As crazy as it sounds, like any times of transformation are chaotic. Because transformation is light. What is transformation? Really, my definition of it, I'm just making this up right now. My definition of it is light coming in to transform anything that is dark to light. That's transformation. Because you don't when you go down, you don't say I'm transforming. You say I'm regressing. Transforming is to alchemize, is to take something that's dark or not working, like trauma, shadows, abuse, war, service to self kind of mentality, and transform it to the light. So this is happening on a massive level, on a planetary level. And what's happening on Earth, you guys know, has the focus of the entire galaxy. We have ships stationed around Earth that are constantly sending frequencies. The Galactic Federation of Light, where Ashtar Command is in charge, these ships, there's millions of ships around Earth at any given time. And the reason we cannot see them is because they have cloaked themselves. It's not because they're not here. There are millions of ships.
Many of them cloak themselves in clouds. So when you see like weird shaped clouds, they're often these ships.
Yes, in Mount Shasta especially.
Yeah,
we used to see
lots
so
of
many.
sightings.
We actually saw
I've
a
actually
ship.
seen a UFO with my own eyes.
You have a video of it too, right?
Yeah.
It's somewhere.
I posted it long time ago.
Yeah, this is a few years ago. So the changes have started, the dominoes have started falling, and really what we expect, this is something we've received in vision. Like we have psychic abilities that come in through vision, through sound, through feeling state. So
and
for me,
channeling, like
and channeling. So there's
chakra.
different kinds that come through, but this particular one we've been shown in a vision. So, and remember, when we say vision, there are many timelines that we have been shown. Every few months when we check in, there's a timeline that has a higher probability, and for whatever reason this timeline is being shown to us now, and we're sharing that with you, that things are going to get crazy and the world is going to feel like the 3D is going helter-skelter. What we're seeing in these timelines is that the light workers are the calm in the storm.
Oops, I just got a download while you were talking that, and the download was Earth is going to become like a merry-go-round, and it's going to start spinning faster and faster, and whoever's on the edge of the merry-go-round usually has the most centrifugal force to throw them off. The ones who are in the center feel least of the changes.
I love that.
So light workers are being asked to now come to the central pillar of light and just hang on with their to their part of the rope.
Exactly. And really that's a great metaphor, but you don't have to use force in hanging on.
Yeah.
What I'm getting is what causes you to stay in that center is a sense of being grounded, is a sense of being centered, right? Is a sense of being in the know, is a sense of having decluttered your 3D stuff, your 3D tethers. So it's like taking a fine tooth comb and combing out your life.
Yeah.
And saying, all right, what parts are not going through this comb?
Whatever's throwing you into chaos, you want to like work that out of your system.
Correct. So really, like literally fine tune and start with like a comb that's not fine. Start maybe with a wider toothed comb and get rid of the bigger chunks first. And that's really what the ascension journey is, you guys. It's constantly combing out the knots and saying, okay, now what knots are there? All right, I thought I got them all. Now what new knots are there? So the next 12 years are going to be critical for the planet. They're going to be critical for many reasons. First of all, okay, let's start with you guys. First of all, the light workers, so us, you guys, and even new light workers that I would say all the ones who are already now getting their training. The next 7 years, you guys, are when you get your training for your next level. So imagine life as if until now you have been getting your earth training with the narcissism and the abuse and dealing with your families and standing in your power and whatnot. Now you're getting your light worker training, your galactic training.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're being trained to go from human to galactic and to really activate at a very deep level.
That's a very good way to look at it. I
Right?
never thought of it that way.
That's how I see it.
It's like our earth training is done.
Yes.
We're like we're leaving behind 3D, and now we're moving into our galactic training.
Exactly.
That's so deep.
So light workers are going through their galactic training to prepare for what's to come. What has happened so far has brought you to where you are today. But many of you may or may not be equipped for what's to come. And what they have shown us and what we have shared before, we've shared a channeling before. It was about 6-7 months ago where we got the message that light workers are the antidote. Even when the flu, whatever, it was released, light workers are the antidotes. We've been sent here. We've come here. We volunteered to come here because we have the frequencies. We're like 5D transmitters of peace, and that is our role on this planet. And right now, as I'm speaking, you know what my guides are saying? They're saying many of you think, oh my God, okay, many of you think that you're going to Earth or you're on Earth right now. So many of you think, including us, that we're here to serve. We're here to serve the collective, which is all very true. But what my guides are saying is, do not for a second mistake or forget about the quantum acceleration, like the quantum jump in consciousness available to every single one of you who are incarnated on this planet right now. And they're saying the reason for this is a great thing to have on our resume. you know, it's like going on a trampoline, and right now Earth has a trampoline, and Earth doesn't always have a trampoline. That's how they're showing it to me. So we have this option in this current lifetime, this current incarnation, or this current period rather, to get on one of these trampolines, because there is ample elevation or ascension when we reach each of these trampolines. So think of life as, where is my next trampoline? Where can I get to the next portal? That's how we live our lives. And we've literally felt like we've gone through our lessons and our evolution, not like walking or crawling. We've gone through them like trampoline to trampoline to trampoline. So this is coming in like never, like really, it's sometimes we feel, oh, weird, like, you know, even many of us, we say we've come here to help with Earth, and oh my God, why did we decide to come here? Or it's, if we knew it was like this, we wouldn't come. Or sometimes we get frustrated, right? Guides are saying, guys, let us remind you, you're here. Service is great, that's a byproduct, but what it's going to do to your resume, your galactic resume when you leave Earth, and I'm talking to every single one of you, it doesn't matter if you end up with a following of 1 million followers, or you end up as a healer one day, or you end up being psychic. It doesn't matter. We're all psychic. It doesn't matter what or where you end up, because each of us has a different soul contract. Just because someone has chosen to meditate and hold the fort for Earth through their frequency, their transmission of peace, it doesn't mean you're doing any less than someone else who's speaking to 1 million people on YouTube, educating them about what's going on. We're all equal pieces of the puzzle, and that's what's coming in right now. We're all equal pieces of the puzzle.
We're all co-creators of the 5D, basically.
Yes.
And we all came here knowing what to expect. And
yes,
like Eldora mentioned, this is one of the most auspicious times in a soul's evolution that you can be present on a planet, because an ascension of a planet doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every 250,000 years. This is something once in 1 million that a soul gets to experience, once every million of years.
Yes.
So
actually, and also what I wanted to go back to the point about the 2032 before we go into the next section. So from now until then, the light workers are reminded, so you're getting your galactic training now. At the same time, the 3D Earth is getting more and more dense and going into more and more fear. And what we've been shown, and this was the major part of the transmission that's coming in today, which is why we even thought of making this video. What we're being shown, and we have been shown in the recent past, is there's going to be people literally running around helter-skelter. There's going to be a lot of mental cases, a lot of mental illness. There's going to be a lot of schizophrenia, lots of bipolar, like people, lots of depression. I'm talking about the 3D frequencies where they simply cannot compute what's going on. Yes, the galactics are bombarding Earth with a lot of these high frequencies, but so you can either awaken by a natural state, which many of you guys have awakened in a very natural state.
It was pre-programmed in your DNA.
Right,
it was awaken at a certain moment.
I love that. It was pre-programmed in your DNA to awaken at a certain point in your evolution, at a certain point in time, and now's that time.
Yeah.
For a lot of the 3D, this is going to be a shock awakening, not by choice, but by no other choice. It's going to be a shock awakening because Earth is ascending and the energies are intensifying whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and the way these 3D people are going to awaken is literally like having the carpet pulled from under their feet, because the banking industry is going to fail, the economy is failing, the governments are going to start being exposed for their corruption. Healthcare, which we know is already, there's a agenda for like reducing our population, going by our very healthcare system, the people we trust our very lives with and our children's lives with.
Yes.
So people are going to be upset, people are going to be angry, they're going to want revenge. And that's going to be their first stage of their awakening. It's
and
like,
a lot of people, it's not even just anger and revenge. A lot of people will even, like when I think of my ex, or like that whole, even my ex-friends, they rely on religion to tell them what to do.
Yeah,
they rely on religion to tell them how to pray to God and who God is. And when they realize that they're part of the inverse matrix and they're actually praying to the devil, did you guys know that? So when you're, and I mean, I'm just stating it as plainly as it is. God does not ask for all these rituals, and the God doesn't ask for all this. So when someone is doing certain things because they're worried about going to hell, or they're worried about some kind of a hellfire, or they're worried about God not forgiving them, or all the things that many religions talk about, who are they praying to? Who are these people praying to?
They're praying to the Kabbal's God, which is Baal.
Yes.
Baal. Baal is it's like a satanic being, and that is the being that channels all this power from the higher dimensions to all of these negative agenda service to self people. And they've been present on Earth for like hundreds of thousands of years now. So they're the ones who are manipulating humanity, and they're the ones who created all of our religions. So our prophets did arrive with the message from Creator, Source, but for example, Jesus did not create Christianity. Muhammad did not create Islam. All of these things were distortions of the original teachings. So the original teachings were completely wiped out. And the books that we have, the Bible, Quran, and all of these things are completely distorted versions of the original truth. So there's going to be a lot of revelations coming to people, and people are going to feel like the world has been taken from under their feet.
Yes, oh
because the very things, institutions we were raised with and trusted are suddenly going to feel like our enemy created this web for us, and how shocking is that?
And even people like in Canada were doing RESPs and RRSPs and 401ks in the US, and all these retirement packages and education packages. Like, think about 3D. They're going to realize that their own governments don't have their back. They're going to realize their own education system is harming their children instead of helping their children awaken.
The children instead of educating them.
So and their own history
books. If you look at schools, they look like prison systems. They literally look like long halls without any personality, and prisons are exactly like that.
Exactly. Even like corporate structures, like offices. What do they look like? Like bunk cubicles. That's not in sync with nature. That's not in sync. So this whole matrix is going to crumble in a very major way, and this is imminent. It's imminent. It has to happen. It's just like when we look at remember yesterday how our guides showed us, they showed us the energy of this summer, like a pimple boiling, 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 and then
it's going to be like a volcanic eruption.
It's like a pimple maturing.
Yeah, we're reaching that boiling point on Earth right now. So just how there's an ascension on this planet taking place right now, there's also a descension taking place. So those in 3D, those who are still clinging on to fear, are going lower into the fear. That's what we're seeing. And there's a higher discrepancy between the vibrations of this planet. So the lines are being drawn in the sand very clearly, and the light workers and people who are awakening are slowly making their way up into the ascension after they educate themselves, after they activate their powers, after they learn how to be more in their heart rather than their head frequency all the time. So what we see, the way we see it playing out over the next decade or so, is like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, that 2032 is the grand point. It's that marker where we all know that a huge event is supposed to take place. And like we mentioned, timelines keep on wavering, but 2032 has been shown to many mystics, many sages, and many advanced civilizations. And they've shared this with us as a point where there will be another grand solar event. And that is supposed to take Earth completely out of the 4D vibration into the 5D vibration. So think of it as the last cosmic pulse that's sent from the great central sun to upshift the vibration of all physical matter in this planet into a 5D frequency. And at that point, until 2032, we're shown that there are going to be 2 timelines emerging, which are already very visible, and these have been talked about widely amongst many topics.
The 3D and the 5D?
The 3D 5D split, and right now it's visible. I mean, you cannot even deny it. The discrepancy is like everyone has felt it and experienced it in their own lives in some way, and this is going to continue to widen. And there are some light workers who are so attached to 3D. They're so attached to, and it's understandable. We all have loved ones who are not awakened. We all have family who's not awakened, and it seems that even though there's a growing divide between our viewpoints and we're able to communicate with each other less and less, but there are some light workers who are clinging on to their 3D past with such ferocity that literally somebody commented that I'd rather go down the sinking ship with my loved ones rather than ascend, because I want to be there for them. I want to share that last dying moment with them. So what we say to that is that emotional sentiment is completely understood, but on a higher level, on a spiritual level, on a soul level, we all came with a plan. And you're not letting go of anyone in the physical, on a soul level, you're not letting go of anyone you love. We're all eternal souls and there is no separation. So this is just a 3D illusion. And secondly, all the souls have a plan. The souls that remain on 3D are going to go into a vibration which supports their 3D consciousness. They simply cannot survive on New Earth, because they're not there yet.
You know, as you were saying that, I was shown that many people are resisting their own ascension, as crazy as this sounds, and saying, oh my, like what he said, that I'd rather just stay back with my loved ones and whatnot. But this is perhaps the biggest trick of their ego in making it sound like they're doing a favor, doing someone a favor. What if your ego is preventing you from ascending just by tricking you to say, hey, stay small, and maybe it's just your resistance? Because remember, ascension takes courage, it takes action, and it's work. It's not like you can just sit at home and say, oh, I'm just going to ascend and not do my work. So maybe this is your resistance saying, I'd rather, because I know people like that.
And this is your fear of being seen. This is your fear of blooming into a butterfly.
Yes.
So don't be left behind because of these ego tricks.
Yes, and you know what I want to say to you if you're one of them? Instead of staying back and playing small because you love your husband or your wife or your children and they're vibrating 3D still, instead, why don't you work on up-leveling yourself? Because ascension is a solo journey. No matter what, like you know how when you, let's say you're going through cancer and you're in so much pain, you're going through something, can your husband or your wife feel the pain? Not really. It's your solo journey to go through that. The same way ascension is a solo journey. You can't say, hey, let's all ascend, let's all get together in a car and we'll go ascend. You can't do that. So instead, if you focus on your ascension and raising your vibration, the chances are higher for your children and your spouse and your loved ones to somehow up-level, up-level. Because guess what? The frequency of this planet is supporting that. So instead, so if you're kidding yourself to play small just because, or if you're like driving yourself nuts with worry, what's going to happen? Will my husband ascend? No,
Will
no.
my pets ascend?
You're lowering your vibration and causing yourself to stay stagnant. And I actually know people like that. A few years ago, I know people who were on their healer's path, who were well on their path, and they decided just because their husband was completely asleep, they said, you know, things are going to be so, she literally said to me, it's going to be very hard to leave this comfortable life and then go live on my own or find another person I fall in love with. Because this is an easy marriage, you know, I don't really have to have sex. I don't really have to do anything. I can just, you know, there are many couples living like this.
It's convenience.
It's convenience over love and passion and excitement and having a lover rather than a husband, you know, that you've signed some paper for. So these are very, very, very eye-opening ideas, and they're going to shift your vibration because they're going to shift your consciousness. And so really soak all of this in.
At the same time, the flip end of this coin is that if you are in a loving relationship and if you have a soul contract with someone who's supposed to be in your life, no matter what, they're going to be in your life. We're only reminding everyone not to put you in fear, but if you're clinging on to old relationships that you are no longer vibrating with, that is based on fear, and that you simply cannot carry forward into this ascension. Because that's not in your soul's highest good. And if you choose to stay back out of your fear of letting go, then you still have some lessons to learn. So these two timelines will continue to split. It's your choice which timeline you want to be on. Just self-analyze, and if you're holding on to the 3D matrix or old tethers out of fear, then we highly advise to look at your soul's evolution and move forward. Because at the end of the day, the souls that are vibrating low, and I know many people who want to know about this, is that pets will ascend. Pets are already in 5D, so they will be there with you in New Earth. So what's going to happen is the 3D timeline is going to continue to devolve until 2032 or so, and that's when this new turning point occurs, where this grand solar flash pulse is sent to Earth. Keeping in mind, timelines are always fluid, so it may happen earlier, it may happen later, but this is just like a general estimate. So the way we see it unfolding is that things will continue to get chaotic until the light workers' job on Earth is done. Until we are in that phase of turmoil, we are here to do our service, to do our jobs, to help pacify and be the beacons of light to hold the peace on planet Earth. When our job is done, it will be like a turning point. We can call it the Great Solar Flash, for example. It could be anything. We don't know what it will be like and how it will unfold. But this turning point will literally upshift the light workers into a higher frequency. So we're literally going to see a new physical version of Earth where no negativity exists. And the people who remained in fear are going to be literally taken off planet, and they're going to reincarnate on another 3D planet where they're going to continue their soul lessons. And eventually, the long-term plan is that nobody gets left behind.
Yeah.
It's just a human perspective that, oh my God, they're going another planet for 100,000 years, or God knows how long that will be. But the long-term plan is that God doesn't leave anyone behind, and we're all returning to source.
Yes.
So,
but as you said that, I don't go into fear by what he just said. He's talking about those in vibrating 3D that are completely asleep and unaware and are completely vibrating fear. So if you're a light worker and you're doing a lot of things but you have some fear, don't take that as, oh, we'll get left behind, because that's not at all the case. If you have a little, remember, the galactic ships, the central sun, the galactic ships, they're constantly sending us frequencies to up-level us a notch up, a notch up, a notch up. So there is a lot of support from the frequencies that are even coming in for you to get rid of the fear. And you know, I want to say something about the fear. All this collective fear is actually helping us in a way. So that's what we've always been shown and what we've always shared on this channel, that the light always ends, the dark always ends up serving the light. Ultimately, even the dark helps the creator. Even the dark is in service to the creator, whether they realize it or not. And this is how it happens. So think about all the fear that's being propagated by the dark ones, the cue ball. They're propagating fear. They're making a flu look like a pandemic, right? That shows their desperation. So there's so many fear tactics, whether the Jap passports will be rolled out, will we be allowed to travel again? Oh my God, what's this pandemic going on? The offices are shutting down, people are starving, people are dying, people are without food, without jobs. There's this agitation energy. Remember what we've talked about in the older videos? We talked about loosh energy. This loosh energy is what these dark ones feed off of, because they are cut off from God's source, right? The dark ones do not have an option of ascending to 5D like you and I do. This is important. The dark ones, the cue ball, they are cut off from God's source. So at most, they can go into 4D. They do have very powerful backing from the other God, from the dark God. So they do have powers, but they cannot touch you once you start vibrating 5D frequencies. Because the minute you vibrate 5D frequencies, you're out of their matrix, you're out of their clutch, you're out of their vicinity. Which is why it is so important for every single one of you. Remember, New Earth is not a destination, it's a frequency.
Exactly.
So the only way, the only ticket to New Earth is you have to do the work now.
Yeah.
We have 7 years. It's usually a 7-year cycle. Many of you joined us last year, and you're aware, you're watching other videos like this, you're reading books, you're meditating, you're clearing yourself, you're eating healthy, you're really getting your healings for your trauma, your shadows, you're looking at your inner child, you're loving yourself, you're doing all of that. But remember, the next 7 years are critical, and your focus needs to be on your ascension. We find that humanity has forgotten why they even come to Earth. They think they come to Earth to have like nice food and go to restaurants and movies. You guys, every single one of us, we've come here to evolve, to ascend, and to raise our consciousness. That's it.
Learn our soul lesson. Yeah. So what happens during this time of ascension, this next decade, what we're expecting is that the light frequency is going to go up like crazy. It's going to keep on intensifying. And this causes chaos in 3D, but in those who are awakening, those who are light workers, who have been pre-programmed to arrive on planet Earth to assist humanity, they're awakening. And if you're listening to this video, you are awakening, or you're well ahead into your awakening journey. And your shadows are also going to come up. So this is part of the process. All of your triggers, all of your shadows are going to come up, because as the light keeps on intensifying on planet Earth, it starts to connect the dots between our junk DNA. And our scientists have arrogantly claimed that this junk portion of our DNA, which comprises more than 90% of our DNA, is just useless. But creation does not create useless things. So our junk DNA is simply not understood by these advanced scientists of Earth. It is actually our higher coding of our galactic self. And as our DNA encodings come online, we go from our 2-strand, we're already most light workers are well into their 3-4 strands. We're no longer 2-strand human beings. And many scientists have even observed this phenomenon, but it's never going to be talked about in mainstream. Scientists have observed that human genomes are coming online. We're actually evolving before our very eyes. So all
even in our case, like, it's not even a scientific thing, it's visible.
It's visible because our powers are coming online.
Exactly. So humanity was originally at 12 strands of DNA, and back, we can talk about it in another video. I don't know if we've talked about it in any video, but our DNA was mutated by the dark ones. They mutated our DNA and they got us down from 12 to 2 strands. So 3D, all the people in the matrix have been completely numbed through flu shots, through vaccinations, through
fluoride in the water.
Exactly. And tap water has fluoride, which is why we don't recommend tap water. We always drink pure water. We drink water with chlorophyll, as you can see here. It's green.
Liquid chlorophyll.
Liquid chlorophyll. We drink pure spring water, or we have those Kangen and whatever water filters. It's very important to remove fluoride, because what the dark ones have done is they have numbed us down, made our DNA, mutated our DNA, and now with 2 strands of DNA operatable, or 2 strands of DNA activated, people are so numb that they're not even able to realize frequentially what's going on. And what the process of ascension is that we're activating more and more and more of our DNA just through our own realizations, because we've been pre-programmed for this phase to do what we're here to do. And as we go higher and activate more of this DNA, dormant DNA, we're seeing the physical manifestation in our healing powers, in our channeling abilities, in our psychic abilities, in everything. We're seeing the manifestation
and also
of this.
our hearts are expanding, and we're feeling more. We're feeling more love for each other, but we're also feeling more pain for humanity. So
and also age reversal, right?
Age reversal. So yeah, all of these changes are happening to us right now. And as we go further, the next 7 years are going to be critical for all light workers, because when we clear all of our karma, when we clear all of the clutter from our life and we heal ourselves, then we become pillars of light for the rest of humanity to hold on to. So when Earth keeps on descending into chaos, I mean 3D Earth keeps on descending into chaos, a lot of people will need help. They will go through mental illness, they will go through trauma, they will suddenly awaken to a world that they thought they knew but no longer is real, and everything's crumbling. So they're going to need the light workers, and not for their knowledge, not for their wisdom, but more than anything for your stability and the calm and the peace that you're emanating. Because all light workers are like crystals. We're like human crystals. We're becoming crystalline beings, and we are emitting these crystalline frequencies. And so basically we start becoming these torches of crystalline divine light of peace emanating all the time. And that's why people feel good when they watch our video, because we've already activated enough of our dormant DNA strands to become beacons of light. And that's what we're activating within all of you. And you in turn start a chain reaction and send this frequency to the rest of the planet who desperately, desperately needs it. They need it like water for a dying person. So this is going to continue to accelerate into 2032. And when there's a certain point where it will no longer be safe for light workers to be present on planet Earth anymore. And at that point, we've been shown that there is a rescue plan that is that has already been prepared. And within 15 minutes, the ships of the Galactic Federation can do a mass evacuation of the entire planet. But they're only going to be picking up people who are vibrating at a certain frequency that is a match for New Earth. So that's going to be like a physical separation of the timelines. So that point will come within our lifetimes, we believe, and this is very exciting. We're going to be physically lifted up into ships. All of our belongings will be there. Our loved ones who are ascending are all going to be there. And we're going to have all of our home belongings will be recreated on those ships. So our quarters, we're told, will look like our home. Like all of our belongings will be materialized there with advanced technologies. Our pets will be there with us. Our loved ones will be there with us. And it'll be a very exciting time. So we'll have a certain phase where we just live on these ships and we're gonna get healing from advanced ET technologies. They have creation chambers that can literally molecularize your body with higher vibrations.
They have the latest technology. They have everything we need. And also we've been shown that there's millions of these ships already ready.
They're already on the orbit. They're just waiting for a signal to pick us up. And
what are they called?
Well, there's motherships.
Yeah, there's these. Yeah,
the motherships are like the huge, they're miles.
They're like cities.
Some of them are like 100 miles long.
They have everything. They have playgrounds, they have parks, they have simulation decks, kind of like
Star
Trek.
New Jerusalem mothership is one very famous one, and that's where Lord Sananda and Ashdor Commander
Yes,
based.
that's the one I was looking for. Guys, this might knock your socks off, many of you, but we've been shown this for about a year or two now, but we've never talked about it in our YouTube because off late, these visions are, because we see a lot of things, but we don't make them all at the same time.
When it's relevant.
Correct.
And now it's being shown to us and flashed to us
it's
from all different
constantly
directions.
being shown to us.
So we are being shown that this is relevant.
Yes.
And this is very exciting.
Yes.
Because we are going to physically go through this process of transformation on these ships. And when our bodies are ready, by that time, Earth will have gone through a huge chaotic event, and the people who are in 3D, who are transitioning to another 3D planet, their souls will be taken off planet. Everybody who is in neutrality and is not service to self, kind of like inflicting harm on others. Other than that, everybody else who is at least neutral will be given the choice to ascend. But even amongst those, there will be many who reject that idea because it'll be too intense for them.
Yes.
So
that's a very good point. Remember that when someone doesn't choose it, it's not because they're less than or they're dumb or they're sheep. They're not ready for it, because it's like being zapped from a 10-volt bulb to a 1,000-volt bulb.
Yeah.
Not everyone's ready for it. Sometimes it gets extremely, the dissonance is just too much.
The soul has free will to decide how long they take to evolve, and every soul deserves that chance.
Yes.
So it's not a punishment that they're taken to another 3D planet, it's just their soul's plan.
And you can't force someone. So I know a lot of you are in families where you're trying to force your families to ascend or awaken. Guys, this is actually going to work against you, because they're going to get so sick of your preaching, and because they don't even see. It's like, I'll give you an analogy, perfect analogy. Remember, let's go back 50 years ago and imagine someone in that era. You go up to them and say, hey, just so you know, there's going to be something called the internet, and we're gonna be able to connect to everyone. It's going to be the age of information, and you can just send emails to people. You can just fax things to people. You can just email. You can create channels like YouTube. So imagine if someone did that before the computer was even invented. That's how it is to people who are not vibrating. Remember, it's a vibrational thing. It's not like, hey, you're my wife and I need you to awaken. Yeah. Your wife may, or your husband or whoever, your friend may be in a vibrational frequency that is simply not able to even comprehend that there's going to be a computer or internet, because they're vibrating in a vibration where all they can think of is I'd like to go eat some fries in McDonald's, or I'd like to, they're just focused on their, I want to hold on to my 3D job, or I want to hold on to this 3D. And the best thing you can do is raise your vibration and just surrender to it.
Your best chance or your best ability to help others ascend is to focus on your ascension. And always remember that it is only vibrational. New Earth is completely vibrational. So the people who are shifting into New Earth, the people who are going to transition out of this chaos, is going to be literally like there's going to be a scan of planet Earth, and whoever's in a certain frequency and their souls have signed up for the next phase of New Earth, they're going to be picked up. And the rest of the people, there's going to be a middle class of people who are neither here nor there. They're going to be given the option to be picked up and fast forwarded in their evolution, or go at a snail pace. That's their choice.
Yes.
And then there's going to be just negative beings who are just inflicting harm on others, and they haven't learned their lessons, and these are more like the cue ball and people who help them, and people who are just like galactic criminals who've been dumped on Earth and they're not ascending. They're just going to descend into an even lower planet. So,
and this is all by design.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We humans, we try to analyze too much and control too much. We think like we're in control. Oh, we're really not. All we're in control of is our own evolution. That's it. And another thing I had written down to talk about is that the higher dimensional beings can only do so much. They're reminding us that now, whoever's on Earth, we're the ground crew.
Yeah.
They are literally like, all right, our best crew, like some of the most advanced beings are on Earth right now to help with this ascension. So the ground crew is here, and we are the ones doing the work. You know how sometimes we give the guides and the ascended masters all the credit? We are the ones doing the work. They have the most respect for us. And they always remind us, you know, they say you glorify us. You have no idea how we look at you with so much humility and so much appreciation and so much admiration, because you chose to leave the higher realms and come down to Earth. You chose to do the hard work, the heavy lifting. You chose to be in this chaos, and you were so fearless that you signed up for it. You heard the call and you said, I'll go to Earth. I'll shine my light so bright. I'll maintain the vibration of the planet. I'll be grounded. I'll be centered. I'll be a 5D transmitter of peace. And through that vibration, through that transmission, I will help with the mass awakening. I will do everything in my power to arm myself, to equip myself, and be a beacon of light for these times. So give yourself a pat on the back, you guys. Earth is not easy. Earth is not easy. We go through pains and aches.
This is the toughest school in the universe to be in.
So please go easy on yourselves. Give yourself love. That's what you need right now. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't say, oh my God, maybe I'm not ascending. If you're still thinking, I don't know, will I ascend or not? You're too polarized. You have work to do.
Yeah, anyone with a good heart is going to ascend.
Yes,
simple as that.
Will have the option to ascend.
If you're a good person, you are ascending.
Yes,
it's not any more complicated.
That's exactly, it's as simple as that. So really, I mean, do we...
Yeah, I wanted to go a bit into the chaos that is coming on planet Earth from a 3D perspective. We're being shown that after this financial crisis, there will also be like global weather changes. There will be global catastrophes where entire coastal cities will go underwater. We're also being shown that the United States is the hub for the new, what did they call it? The United States of Atlantis or something to that effect.
United States of Atlantis.
So the United States is going to be restructured, and the whole continent of South America, North America will be restructured after these global earth changes, and Atlantis will, a new city of Atlantis will be positioned in that continent. There's going to be a time where we come back to Earth after these all catastrophic changes have subsided. We're going to come back with advanced ET technologies, and we're going to help reform Earth and raise these new crystal cities of light. And at that time, there will not be any more negativity on Earth. We'll simply not be able to go into a negative frequency, because in 5D, if you think a negative thought, you instantly manifest it. So we'll have gone into such a high frequency that no negativity will exist. We'll only be living in peace and harmony, but it will also be a very extremely exciting time where we're learning on our higher evolution, our soul's higher evolution. We're living in peace and harmony. We're completely shifted into an evolved state where we are interacting with galactic beings, and Earth will be a hub where many beings come to visit. It will be like a paradise planet, and it's literally the jewel of this galaxy.
Yes, I love that. The jewel of
Earth
this
will
galaxy.
be restored to her
Pristine
deserved kingdom.
Yes,
Mother
pristine.
Gaia will ascend, and
Yes.
humanity will ascend.
And you know, Mother Gaia has so much love for us, you guys. It's gonna make me cry. She thanks us. We are the children. We are her children that came to Earth to feel the collective pain, to purge the collective trauma, to inject ourselves in all these dense families, be raised with such harsh conditions. So many of us, we said, Mother Gaia, we are coming because Mother Gaia can only do it through us. So she always says, you awakened beautiful star seeds and light workers, you're my children. And you are doing such precious work, and I will always be indebted to you for this. I will always. You are my children, and I couldn't have done it without you. So recognize yourself for how precious this time is on Earth and what you're here to do. And go easy on yourselves, guys. Go easy on yourselves. I've noticed that many people who comment and in our Telegram, and they're very hard on themselves. It's almost like they're looking at everything through the lens of, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Am I going to ascend? Instead, get into this sense of knowing and surrender and gratitude and humility, and just fill your life with acceptance that you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are exactly in the right place. You are exactly in the right situation. There's nothing you can do wrong. You have guides, you have divine guides, whether or not you're here listening to them, hearing them, tuning them into them yet. And we're going to make very soon, we're going to make a video. It might even be the next video on how to increase your connection, like how to talk to guides. How does guidance come in? We're ready to go on that. So, because we talked about it just 2 days ago, saying this is the burning question. So go easy on yourself, guys, and you have a divine team working with you every step of the way. They're bringing you synchronicities, they're bringing you people, they're bringing you opportunities for growth, and they're holding the most loving container around you. They have you in their warmest embrace, whether or not you can feel it. And so on behalf of Mother Gaia, so much gratitude. So much love.
We are the meek who inherit the earth. So thank you, light workers. Thank you, soul family, for your service. And we love you so much, and we can't wait to reunite with you. Just know that this hard period will be over for everyone soon. And just give it everything you've got. This is a golden moment in our ascension.
Love you, soul family. Love you so much. Bye-bye.